I'm Shannon.
And I'm Lisa.
And KK's here too. And you're listening to Blacktivities,
a celebration of all things Black.
Black culture, Black history,
Black perspectives, and Black panache.
Celebrating our Blackness doesn't mean exclusion.
Everybody's invited, but you gotta come in and have a seat.
So let the Blacktivities begin. What is good, y'all? It is season 7 of Blacktivities. Welcome back and happy Juneteenth. If you've been rocking with us, we appreciate you more than you know. Hey, do us a favor. Pause this thing right now. And share the show with somebody that you know would enjoy it too. Right. We're trying to expand the fam.
Yes.
And word of mouth is going to be the best way to do that.
We had, I'm sorry to cut you out, but we had 14,500 on Instagram. Did you see that? Yes.
In a minute.
Yeah. This past couple days, I don't know what's been going on, but some people have been talking about I've been out there kind of like, hey, why don't you look at this real quick? But no. But seriously though, it has jumped like significantly. And I just think it's crazy how it just random moments is quiet and all of a sudden something pops off and then boom, everybody's like, let's go over here and let's check this Blacktivities and see what they said. So yeah, I just want to say it is growing. So y'all should definitely come join the party.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. Do y'all think we have any day ones that are still listening since we're in season 7? Like at the very beginning, we had like 30 people or so
right.
rocking with us.
Right.
And it was just me and Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard out there in the world of podcasting because there's so many options. Yeah. So whether you've been here a while or you're just joining us, thank you for choosing to spend your time listening to us run our mouths.
Right. Love it.
If you're joining us for the first time, I'm your host and producer of the show, Shannon. And I also have some wonderful co-hosts, Miss Mona Lisa, our resident poet. Like I said, originally it was just us two, but then we added Miss KK a few seasons ago.
I love it.
She has been a great addition. On a side note, KK is also a poet.
Mm-hmm.
I call her our DEI expert.
Yes.
That's a bad word.
Yes. She gonna get you right together.
Our last episode was published in March, but it seems like there have been so many things that have happened and like topics of discussion in the Black community since we've been gone. So that's the title of today's episode. Since we've been gone. Right, Lisa? I just knew you were going to sing.
I said it in my... Listen.
I said it in my head.
I did. I was like... I was on since you've been gone. I want to put my finger up into my ear so I can say, since you've been gone. Since you've been gone. Yeah. Okay. I did
some rhyme behind it. She putting some rhymes on it.
She did, and she had a little Wanya neck action going.
Yeah, I had to get it, baby. It's music, baby. All right, I'm gonna be good. I promise. I'm gonna chill out. See, I was trying to be good, but you did it. You bought it out because I did say it to myself, but I'm like, nah, this ain't the time right now.
We don't need you to be good. We need you to be yourself.
Okay, bet. Mark this, guys. You heard what she said. Okay? Okay. All right. What you got for me?
Before we get the show started, I just want to shout out my cousin Valita, who sponsored this episode. And she has been a day one.
Yes.
So, Valita, thank you for being so supportive.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want to do all the talking. Do y'all have anything that has happened to you that you want to share with the world since we've been gone?
I don't know. I have had some things. I want to be careful with some of the things that I do share, though. I want to be careful. I've had some, as we say, some very significant life changes. I am very blessed and thankful for these changes. And I also want to express how happy I am to be back with you guys. Okay. That way we could talk about some of these changes off air because y'all, the public ain't finna judge me, baby. But other than that, there has been some very, very great things. And I do want to shout out to my two oldest kids who have been exceeding when it comes to education and in life. And my daughter, she got her a new car after her car was stolen. Didn't I share? I talked about that before, right?
I don't know if you talked about it on air.
On
I
air?
think you shared it on social media.
Yes. So she got her car. She just arrived back from Hawaii. She was there for a week. She didn't take me, but she did get me some very, very nice gifts, and she bought me a very, very nice bag. So that's what I'm going to do. Guys, I got a very nice bag. What about you, KK?
Well, as you can see, I'm on the flow.
Real goods get down on the flow.
On the flow, real goods get down. Hey, that's my husband now. I don't know if you want y'all singing his song.
I'm telling. What's that man name? I'm snitching.
David Banner.
Nope. I'm snitching on you because that ain't it. Last season, that wasn't Dave. I bet David Banner hands ain't big like that. Like who was the other dude?
Oh, she talking about Delroy Lindo.
Exactly. Yeah. So y'all tag Delroy Lindo and tell him that KK, trying to cheat. Sure lives. Now,
well, that's my update then. That I have switched from Delroy to David. No, that's not even, they both fine in chocolate. Yes. So I am surrounded by boxes, and who knows, I may just decide to do the whole season right here. Who knows? But that's my big news is moving, and that's all I got.
Yes. All right. Well, she said I moved as well. Okay. So she already put out there. I also am looking at boxes and things like that. Okay. All right. There's some clothes that need to be hung up here. And they're over there. So we're going to get that taken care of today. But yes. Yeah. All right.
Well, I hope to not move because if I move, then something really bad happened because I'm in my forever home right now.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's really good.
Yes.
I didn't have anything huge happen. My kids did very well in school. My son got all A's.
Yay!
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. How's your daughter?
She's good, being her little creative self. She's smarter than all of us. So,
let me tell you, her daughter KK, when she first saw me, it's like she was looking at me like. I was scared. I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" She was just like,
she's very sassy.
I was like, "Okay, let me get out of her way."
She's a little more welcoming now.
Okay, maybe so. When I first met her, baby, she was not happy. She was like, "Who is this woman over here at my house?" She was just like. Let me tell you something. You don't know nothing till you have a child look you up and down from head to toe. That right there. I had to
stumbling.
Hold my neck. I was like, what's going on? I'm finna go.
The thing is with the kids, it's funny how fast they grow up and develop their own character, their own personalities, and we just watch them evolve. As I like to say, as they get older and we do not. So, yeah. But it's wonderful to watch. And that time goes by so fast. It's like a blink and they're 20,
Yes.
My daughter graduated from pharmacy school. And
nice.
It's perfect for her, actually. And so I'm very proud of everything she's overcome to get there. Mm-hmm. And, you just remember when they're little kids. Like I tell her, I met her when she was 6. And in my heart, she's 6 forever. But man, you look up and, 5'9".
What? Go ahead.
From.
Right.
So.
I'm not trying to think about my kids getting grown.
It's not fun.
No.
It's not fun. Let me tell you, when my daughter posted pictures of her on, the beach of Hawaii and doing stuff. And of course, I'm sitting here looking at it like you, as a mom, you look at it like it's artistic and you're proud and all of this. What about her daddy come texting me and then come calling me talking something? I'm just uncomfortable. Them pictures made me uncomfortable. How you gonna go tell this grown woman to take these pictures off her social media? She paid for this trip on her own, baby. What we look like?
That's amazing.
A father. That is a father.
Yeah. I just got another gun, and I said, baby, ain't nobody trying to go to jail. You need to get off my line with that. You can call if you want to. Tell me how that conversation went when you hang up. Just give me an update.
My husband was the same way. Like everything that she did, he was monitoring clothes, monitoring conversations.
Yeah.
It's just part of that journey.
Right. Yeah. All right.
I done busted out the church fan because it's hot. It gets hot in here in the summertime.
Oh, yeah.
So if you see
That's that Georgia heat.
Yeah. Before we get to the conversation, we always start with some facts because we want to talk about the truth and base our discussion on that. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, if you're watching us on YouTube, let us know what your favorite show segment is in the comments.
Yes.
If you're on another podcast platform, you can leave us a review and let us know. Mm-hmm. Let's get into the big facts. So, since we've been gone, Target lost at least $12.4 billion in market value due to a boycott. Pastor Dr. Jamal Bryant, pastor of New Birth Missionary Baptist Church right here in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. He started that campaign against Target, and we actually came together and we made a difference. Now there is a call to boycott Dollar General.
Shut up.
Launched.
For real?
Yeah.
What they do?
So the reason is similar to Target. Dollar General rolled back their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs.
Oh, okay.
And this boycott is supposed to be a little bit different because he's saying that it's both digital and physical. So he's encouraging people to inundate Dollar General's email and phone lines and post on social media and wherever possible to stop shopping at the stores. And the campaign is supposed to run from Memorial Day to Labor Day 2025. His demands include reinstating DEI initiatives, partnering with Black farmers and vendors, and investing in Black communities. He points out that only 2% of Dollar General executives are people of color, and that the company has not supported HBCUs or Black movements despite making lots of money from Black people.
Interesting.
Dollar General responded, stating that their mission is to serve all communities and that they have contributed over $250 million to various causes, including food banks. So that's one thing.
What they need to do is increase the pay and hire more people so they can put all them damn boxes and shit up that be on the floor every time you go in there. Now,
another thing that happened is plantations burning.
Hey! Oh, I'm sorry, I got too excited. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to state the facts, and then we can talk about
Okay, sorry. Okay,
our thoughts and feelings. So the historic Nottoway Plantation in Louisiana, which was the largest antebellum mansion in the South, was destroyed by a massive fire on May 15th. 10 fire departments responded to the fire, which resulted in the complete loss of the plantation. There were no injuries reported. I think it was something that happened at night, but the cause of the fire, they're saying they believe it was something electrical, like an electrical fire, but they're saying there's no evidence of foul play. There has been a lot of grief and reflection with certain groups of people. And the Black community has been making meme after meme. I'm sure that you have seen some of these. But the site was facing a lot of criticism because they were saying that they don't really acknowledge, or they didn't really acknowledge, like, enslaved people on their website or anything, even though this was a huge plantation and people were using it for like weddings and it was like an event space. So there have been discussions about the restoration and the importance of using sites like this to educate people about the realities of slavery, like the Whitney Plantation. There are close to 4,000 plantations in other places with histories of slavery that exist as museums, historic sites, and things like event spaces, bed and breakfast, or vacation rentals. There's still close to 4,000 left. Another thing that's happened is that the Diddy trial started. I know last season we were talking about the video that had dropped with him beating Cassie. There have been a lot of like headlines for this. He pleaded not guilty, of course. But they've had lots of people testify. And basically the charges include racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation for the purpose of prostitution. And if he is convicted, he faces up to life in prison. So that's something that you guys have seen on the news that's still going on. Another thing that happened was in May 2025, the Trump administration granted refugee status to a group of white South Africans. He says that they were victims of racial discrimination and violence in South Africa.
Those poor people.
He is calling it a white genocide, which those claims have been debunked. And the South African government denies this. So the first group of Afrikaner refugees arrived in May, and they're expecting that more will come. This group of refugees got fast-tracked, basically, because the United Nations Refugee Agency said that they were not involved in the vetting, which is usually what happens. And Trump said that he was able to do that because a genocide was taking place, and white farmers specifically were being targeted. He is quoted as saying, "Farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they were white or black makes no difference to me."
Okay.
The U.S. has criticized domestic South African policy. They're saying that the government in South Africa is seizing land from white farmers without any compensation. The president of South Africa, his name is President Ramaphosa. He signed a law allowing the government to seize privately owned land without compensation in certain circumstances when it is deemed equitable and in the public interest. But the government says that no land has been seized under this act. At the same time, there was a group of refugees that came to the U.S. when Biden took our troops out of Afghanistan, and they are revoking their refugee status. So that's supposed to end July 12th. And so these are like people who helped the U.S. military when we were over there for all those years. Basically, they're going to revoke their refugee status and make them go back to Afghanistan, where the Taliban currently rules. So who knows what will happen when they go back, especially for the ones who are women, because the Taliban discriminates against women, oppresses them, and there's been some gender-based violence. The reason that I brought that up is because this kind of has to do with apartheid, because during apartheid, there was race-based violence against Black South Africans. And so it still does have to do with Black people in that way. So a fact that I found, while Black South Africans make up more than 90% of the population there now, they only hold 4% of all privately owned land. And
I just looked at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, according to a 2017 report. Yep. So,
and they have 72% of the land. Mm-hmm. So they have 72, and they average around 7% of the population, which is.
So how they get their land?
Well, they're victims of genocide, so I'm sure it was quite difficult.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll wait. I'll hold my questions.
Okay. Another thing that happened was that President Trump signed an executive order in March of 2025 that claims that recent efforts to teach and display American history have become too focused on negative aspects like racism and oppression, which he says distorts the nation's achievements and divides people. The order criticizes museums, especially the Smithsonian, for promoting what it calls divisive or ideological narratives, and says federal museums and historic sites should instead highlight American progress, unity, and greatness. The order directs the vice president and other officials to remove improper ideology from Smithsonian museums, ensure future funding only supports exhibits that celebrate shared American values, and block recognition of transgender women in the American Women's History Museum. It also calls for restoring monuments or exhibits that have been changed since 2020. So remember back in 2020 when they started taking the Confederate monuments down. And for improving Independence Hall in Philadelphia before the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. The overall goal is to make sure federal museums and historic sites present a positive, unified view of American history. And I want to quote from that executive order. It says, once widely respected as a symbol of American excellence and a global icon of cultural achievement, the Smithsonian Institution has in recent years come under the influence of a divisive, race-centered ideology. This shift has promoted narratives that portray American and Western values as inherently harmful and oppressive. For example, the Smithsonian American Art Museum today features The Shape of Power, Stories of Race and American Sculpture, an exhibit representing that societies, including the United States, have used race to establish and maintain systems of power, privilege, and disenfranchisement. Where's the lie there? The exhibit further claims that sculpture has been a powerful tool in promoting scientific racism and promotes the view that race is not a biological reality, but a social construct, stating race is a human invention. The National Museum of African American History and Culture has proclaimed that hard work, individualism, and the nuclear family are aspects of white culture. That has to be taken out of context. Because who was the hardest workers? Who was doing all the work? But anyway, so the government has been threatening to remove things from the Blacksonian, which is the museum that's in DC, and some other museums, because they're saying it is divisive. And there was some artifacts that did get removed, but the Smithsonian says that the 32 plus artifacts that were removed was for adherence to standard loan agreements or museum practices, and not this executive order. And the last thing I have is Black Dandyism at the Met Gala. So this year, the theme was Superfine, tailoring Black style. So it was drawing inspiration from Monica L. Miller's 2009 book, Slaves to Fashion, Black Dandyism, and the Styling of Black Diasporic Identity. There were several well-known Black people who were chairs of this Met Gala. Coleman Domingo, Lewis Hamilton, A$AP Rocky, Pharrell Williams, and Anta Wintour co-chaired the Met Gala this year. And LeBron James served as an honorary chair. And then there was a host committee with lots of well-known musicians, actors, and athletes and designers on it. The menu was created by Chef Onwuachi. I apologize if I'm saying his name wrong, which I probably am. But he created the menu and said it was inspired by the routes of the diaspora. So basically, the Met Gala was very Black this year, and there was a lot of controversy and talk about how it was not inclusive. But this year, the proceeds from that have reportedly rung in at $31 million, which they report is the biggest gross since the Met started 77 years ago. So, that's the facts.
Wow. So, based on the whole theme and them saying that it wasn't inclusive, I like to say that that is very, very incorrect. I think it's crazy that they choose this event with this theme, this particular theme, and say that it wasn't inclusive. No. How about this? Did y'all see Trump's outfit?
I thought Trump was banned.
Exactly. But who was y'all favorite? Who stood out to y'all for his outfits and looks?
I think I like Zendaya's.
Zendaya? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The best.
Oh yeah, it was nice. It was the white with the, yeah. That was Louis Vuitton too, by the way. That was really nice. Who was the singer? Was it Shibuya and his grill? Isn't that his name? He had
like the Black country singer.
Shabuzi. How you say his name?
Shabuzi.
Mm-hmm. I liked his look too. I thought that was really nice. That stood out. How y'all feel about Rihanna's look? With the
it wasn't bad. I think it was more about her revealing her pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope she has a girl, and then I mean, I glazed over the whole Met Gala thing. I was very excited about how Black it was. And I find that whenever we do something that highlights us or our culture, that's coded language, divisive. I've been called divisive in our comments. In fact, talking to somebody that is a really, really good friend of mine, in the comments and somebody jumped in, oh, this is divisive. It's always considered that when people with those with privilege who are offended about not being included because they are always in the forefront of everything, use that word divisive as coded language. And, anything that's divisive or not inclusive means that this isn't centered around me. And why is that? That's the translation for it. So I find that I ignore anybody who says, oh, well, it's not inclusive, or, is your country club inclusive?
Exactly.
That's what I want to know, because that's, let's talk about that if you want to talk about being inclusive or not. So until those conversations are had, don't worry about the Met Gala. As long as Miss Wintour is satisfied with the outcome and the work, there it is. That's it. That's all.
Right. I
agree. Do you think that some of the white stars that went to it like purposely dressed in a way that it wouldn't draw attention to them? Because I thought that some of their outfits were like not that great.
Some of them missed the mark, I think.
Yes, I would say that. Yes,
but there's a certain dandyism is about fine tailoring. It's fine, clean lines and exact tailoring. And so if they, have a designer that doesn't understand that, then I don't think it was intentional. I think they had good intentions.
Right.
I don't think anybody would want to show up and purposely miss the mark.
Now, do y'all feel there was anyone like African Americans or Black people that missed the mark or played too much into the actual theme, where they went too far?
I don't think so.
No.
I think there were a couple that I looked at and said, they could have played it up a little bit.
Okay.
I don't remember
and that's what I'm saying.
People who it was, because it's been a while since I looked at
Doechii. I don't know. I feel like Dapper Dan, he wears the Gucci, like he wears the actual logos and the symbol. But I feel like with Doechii and her outfit and the Louis Vuitton outfit, it was just like with Black people, we don't have to go and get like the logo and have it like displayed on us and it's just everywhere. You know what I mean? I feel like that took away from the actual theme of her outfit and what she did.
I'll tell you who I think nailed it, and there were other people, I'm sure. There was even a man who I just don't recall, but Tiana Taylor was spot on.
Yes. Issa Rae. Issa Rae too. Rae. Yes.
I don't know if I saw Issa's.
Yeah, Issa Rae was nice.
Yeah, I mean, Issa always looks good to me, no matter where she's at. But I was really impressed with Tiana. Came with it. Diana Ross was serving.
Oh, how could I forget her?
That Forever train was amazing. So yeah, I think it was wonderful, and I think things like that give us a break from everything that's happening in the news. One of the other things that you talked about that really stands out for me is the entire thing with the welcoming of the refugees from Africa, is the way they were treated versus in comparison to the way other people are treated. When you look at the images of the Haitians, the guy on the horse with the what is it that they round them up with? I can't even think. I'm almost about to call it something else, but the rope. And he was trying to catch the Haitian guy versus what we see with the Africans versus what we saw with Ukraine when they had welcoming committees and big signs and stuff like that. I feel like that is something that stands out as the things that we try to get away from when we do something like the Met Gala, and we're able to look at people who are making great strides and making history, and it made history in the amount it made, as well as the overall theme and who all was involved. Mm-hmm. So when you think about things that have happened in the news over the past 6 months, and compare and contrast that with, the news, this event, it was kind of a nice getaway. Mm-hmm. And my thing about, I have so much to say. Well, this is what I'm going to say about that plantation, because also a tree, I believe, fell on a Civil War museum and destroyed.
Yes, it did.
So I'm going to tell you who's doing that. Y'all want to know who's responsible for this?
Go ahead.
India Irie.
What?
India Irie. People aren't paying attention. India Irie is basically making music, and it is waking up the ancestors. And so
interesting.
I blame India, but she's got her drum, and she's in all white.
Hey, yo, Alexa.
She's hitting that drum, and she's doing those chants, and it's affirmations. Mm-hmm. And the affirmations are affirming, I have everything I need and all of this. But it's also a wake-up call. The drum wakes up the ancestors. That is what it is. That's our instrument.
Right.
And so it's India Irie's fault that, stuff is burning down. She's responsible for waking them up. They said, it's an electrical problem. Mm-hmm. One of them ancestors was like, do right by us.
I was just flabbergasted at the fact that they was just like, they had people saying, it's because the Annabelle doll is here. And it's like, y'all believe in what y'all want to believe. But I'm just sitting here like, okay, y'all believe in the spirits of the Annabelle doll, but you don't want to take into consideration the millions, well, not millions, the many people that have died or lost their lives, and what had happened there at that plantation, how it affected those families. And y'all are just sad because no one has, this is one less venue. Yeah, the compassion, but one less venue to have your wedding or go tour. Like they were really on the news, just so just so disheartened, and this is our history, and they're talking about how great it is, and then we just sitting here like, you have got to be kidding.
That's like, to make America great again.
Right. Like y'all are paying this amount of money to book this place to take your wedding photos in front of a tree where people were hung from. But that's beautiful to you? How?
Well, they used to make postcards for that. So,
that's
there were postcards and photo ops taken. Yeah. I don't know if you saw a video clip of the young lady who was doing the tour. She was dressed in, the regalia of that time. And she was saying, there were so, the landowners, she didn't call them masters or whatever, but the land or property owners were very kind to the people who lived here. And some of them stayed on after their emancipation, and even some of their families have come back to work here. So yeah, that's the take the and not guilt, but that helps to sort of polish
whatever makes you feel good.
Gloss it over.
Yeah. Just patch it up.
It helps with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I just thought it was interesting. And again, I don't think any of us have ever said, on here or in any other environment that we feel like there is responsibility for those actions. I believe it is our contention that there is responsibility that goes with privilege. You know, they say, well, with great power comes great responsibility. Well, great responsibility comes with privilege, and also accountability comes with that as well. There are benefits for sure that come with it.
Right.
I mean, and I don't, I have talked to several people who have, we've talked about this administration being in power. There's some things that have happened within the last week or so that I would love to touch on, like the bromance is no longer. But, but
bless his heart. I mean, they broke up.
That,
we gotta say it. We have to say it. They broke up. It's crazy.
All for show. It's all. I don't believe for 1 minute that man really is taking a stand for the people. I think his whole image took a hit, and this is the recovery. I don't buy it.
I've heard other people say that he's trying to get his image back and get his business back to where it was.
Yeah. Like, I have to become a person of the people. I have to win the people back. That's part of it. But the destruction, with that said, and I'm going to stop talking because I've been talking a long time.
Girl, shut up. You dropping gems. Come on now.
The destruction that has happened is immeasurable. The number of people that I know that have lost their income and are about to lose, even with a severance package or whatever, is tremendous. It's daunting. Somebody told me of a job that was posted here with the city that an HR person said there were 900 applications for one job. This is where we are with this. And when you talk about, what I believe has happened, and I touched on it before, when we said, well, what about the black jobs? What black jobs? Ha, ha, ha. Well, what we're seeing is the dismantling of what allowed marginalized people to achieve middle class. Whether you had an associate's, master's, bachelor's, PhD, you could achieve and maintain middle class through these jobs that are no longer. So what does that do? If people get into a situation where it's hard for them to find jobs, where they spend months and years and they have to feed their family, if the immigrants aren't doing certain jobs at a labor class level or whatever you call it, then who does a job? Is it the people who cannot find a job, who were once middle class? It's a displacement. It's all strategic, because we're looking at a hybrid now of becoming a caste. These people we're talking about at the top, him and his buddy, they are more of a caste system versus class. We understand class, but what we're seeing is a caste system sort of being put on top of that as well. And a caste system is about inheritance. You inherit your wealth. It's through name and other legacies like that. Class, we know it's easier to move around in that. I can't call myself a Trump or a Musk, but I can move around. But if you've taken away the jobs that have allowed me, my peers, other people of color or whatever, to move around and achieve middle class, then you're making a different class here.
Right.
That's permanent, that you didn't want the immigrants in. That's what's happening.
Yeah. That's wow. Woo!
KK.
Yes. So when you want to write a book? No, just play. Because baby, I will be right there.
I mean, it's strategic. I believe everything we're seeing was in Project 2025. Everything.
Yeah, everything.
He did not lie about anything. Well, he lied about not knowing about it,
Correct.
And then put those people in positions of power.
Right. I mean, it's just the way, like his whole cabin within itself, how, it's just people like him. Some of them also are criminals as well. And on top of that, the people that he placed in order of certain things. I'm sorry. I still feel like I'm being punked to the fact that Linda McMahon is over education. I really feel like I'm really being punked right now. And then when I watch, them on the floor and they're having like the different, just the little meetings, and they're questioning them about different stuff, especially her. They ask her questions and she's just like, I'm sorry, what is that? Like, she don't even know. Like,
what was that? She said something, instead of saying AI, she said A1.
Yes. And when I was watching that and she said that, I just put my head down and said a little prayer to myself, because I was like, ain't no way in the world this is real. I am scared. Okay? Like, I'm really scared. This is who is in place, like, it made me, as a matter of fact, that right there, watching her, and when it comes to the education and all of the things and the changes and the funding that they're pulling, that right there made me come up with my call to action. And I'm going to wait. But I really, it is sickening, the things that they put in place and the people that they have there. JFK Jr., that man, oh my God, where do I begin? He don't know nothing. Yeah, he gets up there, like he just smoked and ate 90 packs of cigarettes, and he gets up there and he's just talking, and they asking him stuff, and he's like, I have no recollection. What do you mean? This is your job. What do you mean you have no recollection? You're supposed to know this. So it's just like very sickening, the amount of people that aren't qualified. Underqualified people replace these overqualified people, and then they don't have a job, and we're just supposed to accept that. That's just ridiculous.
Right. I just be having to like go offline sometimes. I'm dealing with the administration. Mm-hmm. I got to protect my peace.
Yeah, this is true. 92%, y'all. 92%.
The last thing I want to say before we get to Lisa's pieces, or ask really, is the whole thing with the white Afrikaners being given refugee status. Wasn't there a mention of a possible path to citizenship with that?
I heard something about that. So. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you think that has something to do with, the whole thing that the white races,
yes,
like gonna be in the minority?
Now, this thing, in my opinion, this thing with the South African and the land and all that, it's always been some type of war or something going on. Okay. So my question is, why are we just now doing something about it? And then also, Trump says it's not about race, but why you don't have a mixture of people? Why is it only white South Africans that are able to come back?
Did Haitians get refugee status when all that was going down in the country, and still is going down in the country?
No, they got rounded up with ropes. Like runaway slaves.
Right.
I believe what you're saying is absolutely 100% correct. That's why they were welcomed the way they were, and Ukrainians as well, for that particular reason specifically. Right. It was for population increase. Right. Yes.
And I think it's crazy that the first group of people, the 50 or 60 people that did come along, and how they expedited, their paperwork for them to come. Like, we have people that is here and they submit their paperwork, where they become U.S. citizens or, permanent residents. And it takes years. And then on top of that, we didn't share this, but in Dalton, Georgia, the young lady who was a college student, she's been here since she was 4 years old. She came to the U.S. from Mexico. with her family. Now, granted, they did not do their paperwork. Everything was pending. So all of these years they have been here illegal, technically. But she gets pulled over. They detain her, and come to find out, her father also was pulled over a month prior and was also detained. And they was going to deport them. They were going to deport them. I could see if they was, constantly doing something. They just criminals. They just out here wreaking havoc. But she was a college student, And come to find out, the police officer that pulled her over, he pulled over the wrong car. He pulled over the wrong truck. And what was crazy is they released the video and the tapes, and they showed the actual traffic footage of the truck that he was trying to pull over. And someone seen the truck a couple days later running a red light. You know what I mean? It's like of the actual person that they were supposed to pull over. But anyway, I just think it's crazy how they pick and choose what they want to address and deal with. That sense of urgency with that little 19-year-old girl that is trying to get an education, that sense of urgency should be shown to the leaders here that are possibly, allegedly pedophiles and allegedly doing things that are very illegal. And it's just bananas. It's wild that we pick and choose what we want to take care of. So that's what I'm going to say on that.
All right. I think it's time for Lisa's piece.
Imagery or imagination, fact or fiction, celebratory trumpets blaring when each lie lies. Skin tone told day in, it's not an issue, and missed opportunities daily outed. Memorials and movies for reflecting enormity ships. Mayflowers talked about. It's taught in laws protecting teaching against the April showers where the root really matters. We can complain all day, but have chosen to sit this one out. Fear undermines that same enormity, but those different skin hues highlight perseverance and strength. So just smirk. Just wait. Let's wait for the common sense to be great again. Well, has it ever? Thank you.
I was going to say, we're going to be waiting for a long time.
Yeah.
Great again.
You're right.
All right, ladies, I think it's time. Let's wrap this thing up with a call to action for the culture.
Well, as I was going to say before, my call to action is, let's start out with making sure our little ones understand and know how special they really are, and then also understands where they come from and the history. So I am challenging you guys, even if you aren't Black, to still talk about things that have occurred, to still talk about people that have been oppressed, and if there was any potential laws or things that went in place to contribute to, and then also address how it is being reversed. That way, that person, your child and your family can make that decision on what steps they want to follow. Okay. And what type of American they want to be. All right. So just make sure we're starting from the base and the education, because it starts at home.
My call to action is twofold. Mm-hmm. So my call to action regarding the things that we are seeing is to inform, whether it's within your community, books, or whatever it is, to share the information. And as you're sharing, we need to be tracking what has been removed so that it can be reinstated later on. We need to track all of the things, educate, inform, share, and get the word out as much as possible. Whether it's banned books or whatever, statues, all of the things, ship names that we know have been changed because of these actions of this regime. outside of that, I would say the second part of it is to continue not reacting to things in a way that causes the type of disruption that we're being, prodded to, just poked and prodded. So we need to continue to be more strategic in our actions. So the strategy is what I first mentioned. The second part of that is the why. Because we know we're being poked and prodded, we need to continue to be strategic and not reactive. That is my call to action.
Right.
My call to action is you have power. Use it. The Target boycott has been effective, and that is evidence of what we can do when we come together. Your voice is powerful. There have been a lot of threats from this administration, but we have been fighting back and bringing the world's attention to things, and we got to keep doing that. Yeah. Your art and your creativity is powerful. Lots of money has been made based on us and our resilience and our creativity, hence the Met Gala. We're also going to talk about this in our next episode as we celebrate Black Music Month. So thanks for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed this episode, click that plus in Apple Podcast or that subscribe button in YouTube to make sure you keep getting these episodes. We love to hear what you love about the show in the comments and reading your reviews. So until we meet again,
King and queens keep doing big things.